Lane number 4, it's Brazil 1, Sweden 2, Italy 3. Canada, the fastest qualifiers, 38.16. The Australians, clearly the second fastest qualifiers, 38.17. Jamaica, then Ukraine and Japan as we go through them. Now, Brazil, Jane, have set 2 area records on their way through, but are still 3/10 slower than the Australians.
And that's good news for us, Bruce, I think. So, you know, obviously, with the likes of Robson to Silva in their team, they do have some quality, though.
The Swedes set a national record in the first round.
And they've been running very well. As you can imagine, their crowd favourites did a victory lap after their national record.
The Italians, who we beat handily, didn't we, in the semi-final.
Have had some very good teams over the years, with the likes of world record holder for the 200 metres, Pietro Manea in it.
Canadians, there's Esmie, now Gilbert, then Surin, who was second in the 100, the silver medalist, and Bailey, the current number 1 in the world.
I'd be interested to see how Damien Marsh runs against Donovan Bailey off a fly, because obviously Damien's been running very good 200 metres, and there's Paul Henderson. This is a huge moment for him.
To Jackson, to Brimacombe, to Marsh, they've all run superbly. Their baton changing's been excellent.
It's been a real push by Athletics Australia to try and get the relay program going. It's been going for about 5 years now.
Beckford's come in, the long jumper for Jamaica. He's the inclusion. Stewart to anchor.
Yesterday we had a hurdler put in from Jamaica. Today a long jumper after that hamstring pull in the first round.
Ukraine in lane 7, they set a national record, which is 0.6 of a second slower than us in the semi-final. Again, it all adds up to, if the Australians get it right, they're the main dangers to Canada here.
The good thing about the Australian team is people like Paul Henderson and Tim Jackson are really coming into form now, and we've seen that Damien and Steve Brimacombe have been in personal best shape as well, so they've really peaked at the right time, and the relay program's brought people like Damien up through it, and Kathy Freeman first started out as a relay runner in 1990, and Melinda Gainsford's come through some relay teams as well. So now look how we've gone in 5 years. We've gone from not having a 4x100 metre relay team, even representative at this level, to being one of the favourites for the gold medal.
Esmie of Canada, Australian record 38.17. They broke it twice yesterday. You saw that at the beginning of the program. The Swedes, a Carlson starts and a Carlson finishes.
There's some real pressure on these boys here. The baton changes, as we've seen in the first 2 rounds, are so incredibly important. Very easy to mess them up. Must be practiced and practiced. And what happens is, as the relay runner comes in, the incoming runner, there will be a mark on the ground, and the outgoing runner will see when the incoming runner passes that mark and take off, and then they're given a signal, which is normally the word hand, and the outgoing runner sticks their hand out and the baton is firmly placed in it. Well, that's what we hope in the case of the Australian team anyway.
There's Paul Henderson going first for Australia. They're being asked to stand up. The crowd are getting so involved here with the Swedish team. You notice those in the back straight waiting. Costa Nova is also preparing to jump. So they're just settling things down. And they've asked the crowd to be a bit quieter. There's been an official announcement just to settle. They'll roar for the Swedes here. Canada look to be the favourites when you've got Surin and Bailey to anchor, and they were, well, second and first in the 100. There's Beckford, who won a silver medal over Mike Powell yesterday with his final jump.
And the rest of the Australian team would all be out here today. I'm sure they're going to have a few nerves happening as well. The team's got along very well, and everyone is very good friends, so they'll be out there hoping that our boys do the best they can possibly do.
Our men's 4x100 team has not won a medal at an Olympics or World Championships. Sweden in lane 2 we're looking at. There's Esmie of Canada. Henderson's outside of him. He'll give it to Jackson, to Brimacombe, to Marsh. If Marsh gets it a metre up on Bailey, what a grandstand finish it'll be. Set. Well, the tension mounts.
Tension's mounting up here too, I think, Bruce.
Well, no wonder you're nervous. I mean, you know these four men so well. You've been on so many teams with them. Marsh, how well he's run at these championships. 9th in the 100, 9th in the 200. Brimacombe, semi-finalist. Henderson ran well in his first 2 rounds of the 100. Jackson's had to wait and has really run the back straight in outstanding fashion in the first 2 rounds. And you made a good point that the Americans didn't have a lot on us, even when they made a mistake with the baton when they were going at the change at 200. We were right there with them, weren't we?
I think we were. In fact, looking back at the replay yesterday, I'd have to say that we were probably even up on them, and they hadn't made too many mistakes by that stage, so it gives you an indication of how well Henderson and Jackson ran.
So Canada and Australia, a real Commonwealth battle, isn't it?
And haven't the boys been giving each other some stick too over that one? It's a bit of a little war going on in the stadium and in the village.
And throw Jamaica in as well. Esmie settles. Well, Henderson, how would his nerves be? For the 3rd time, like the others, he has to go down and settle in the blocks. Baton in the right hand, knowing that he's got to run 100 metres as fast as he's ever run in his life, and then give it to Jackson cleanly. And then just cross his fingers and hope they're set. Away, Hendo got out well. So did Esmie. Beckford away well. Henderson's taken good ground off the Jamaicans. Australia, Canada equal. A good change. Jackson, Gilbert. It's Jackson, Australia, Gilbert, Canada. Japan going well. Brimacombe gets it now. Cleanly. Surin's with him though. Canada in front. Australia trying to go with them. Bailey to get it last, and then Marsh. It's clean for the Australians. We're in the silver medal position. Bailey's holding Marsh. Canada gold. Australia silver. A great result. And 3rd, Italy. The Aussie boys have got a silver.
I can hardly talk here, Bruce. I've got the shakes happening, the goosebumps. Everyone's going to go berserk. It's fantastic performance. We've only ever won 4 medals at the World Championships in the 5 championships that have been held, and I can tell you what, I think there'll be a few Fosters consumed tonight too between those boys, Bruce.
Well, never before have we won a medal in a 4x1 at this level. Rob De Castella's our only gold medalist in the 12-year history of the World Champs. Kerry Saxby, Daniela Costian and Debbie Flintoff-King have won silvers, and you can add those names. The Canadians, and good on them. What a great team they are. Surin to Bailey in the end. But you can add Henderson, Jackson, Brimacombe and Marsh to the names of Flintoff-King, Costian, Saxby Jr. and De Castella as medalists at the World Champs. Deke, you're sitting alongside of us. You're a proud Australian at the moment, aren't you?
Oh, it's tremendous, Bruce. I was very nervous. The relay is always such a technical event. It's so difficult to get the changes right, to be able to carry that baton so quickly. Tremendous result.
Well, they didn't make a mistake. It was interesting. The final was slower. The tension, the build-up, the wind in the stadium today as the Canadians celebrate. We've got a new superstar too, haven't we, in Donovan Bailey, and that's tremendous for the sport.
It was interesting too, talking to the Canadians after the 100 metres. They were saying, believe it or not, that the 1-2 double in the 100 wasn't that big a story, but if they won the relay, they'd be huge.
Well, Henderson, look the ground he takes off Jamaica in the first leg. Esmie goes with him.
I thought that perhaps that change was a little bit slow. The idea is obviously for Timmy Jackson to be running at his top speed by the time the baton gets to him, but you know, you can't take away anything from them. Very tough when you've got the 1st and 2nd fastest men in the world against you, but our boys have done incredibly well. Honestly, coming into this competition, it was doubtful whether they'd even get into the final. So they've risen to the occasion. Mars has run really well. Bailey's hardly taken a thing off him, and you can see why he nearly made the final of the 100 metres as well. What a great championships Damien Marsh has had, and he really deserves a medal.
And look how much further we were in front of 3rd placed Italy. That's another good point. It's given us so much to look forward to in the future with this team, and a silver medal here at the world level.
And, you know, for somebody like Damien Marsh and Steve Brimacombe and even the boys that have run the 3 races in the last day, the thing that I was commenting on previously was that the medical support that we've had over here, there have been no injuries at all during the competition to the Australian team, and people like Damien who have run now 9 races within a week, been fantastic medical support. And obviously the Canadians are having a pretty good time carrying that big old maple leaf around the track.
The Australians are doing a lap of honour as well in the back straight. There's the Canadians. We might get a view in a moment of the Aussies. They're in front of the Canadians.
That'll be big news at home too, I'm sure. These guys will just be having a great time tonight. A huge celebration. They're at about the 200-metre mark of the track.
There's the Brazilians and the Swedes. The Swedes, they are going back. Here's the the second change to Brimacombe.
Steve Brimacombe, I'm sure, a few years ago when he was running professional races, would never have thought that he'd end up with a world medal from the World Championship, a silver medal around his neck, but he's come here today and ends up with just that.
Esmie, Gilbert, Surin and Bailey, the gold medalists for Canada.
And the gentleman on the end, obviously the emergency, Peter Ogilvie, the coach in the middle. Some of these guys are actually talking about coming out to Australia over summer to lap up our warm weather, our fantastic facilities in Canberra at the Institute of Sport. And, you know, the Australian team gets along very well with the Canadians too. So, you know, if they had to get beaten by somebody, I'm sure they'll be happy to be beaten by the Canadians.
And here's the Australian team as they make their slow lap of honour. Damien Marsh on the left with Steve Brimacombe at the front. Paul Henderson with his sunglasses on and Tim Jackson. Look at that, silver medalist from the World Champs.
And Keith Connor, the relay coach, he's won he's a Commonwealth Games triple jump champion, but doesn't have a silver medal to his name from the World Championships, but he's now been probably responsible and helped those guys get one too.
Well, we'll get you an interview with those Aussie boys in the near future.
Well, guys, history, first relay World Championship medal. How does it feel?
Fantastic.
Can't swear.
You broke the national record yesterday. You came close again today. I mean, were you feeling pressure today?
No, I don't think so. I think the conditions are a little trickier today. There's a bit more wind blowing, so you know you've got to run into that wind a bit harder today. So that's probably why the times are a little slower.
Didn't matter.
Kane the Jamaican.
Kane, I mean, basically Keith just told me to just, you know, eat the next two guys on my outside up, and you know we had a few little distractions in the blocks, but I just put my mind to it, and you know just got on with the job. Just carved them up.
You guys yesterday said that you're really looking for Canada after the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah.
It wasn't the case, but I mean, you put in a great effort.
Yeah, I think we're a lot closer this time. This is the World Championships. This is a step up from the Commonwealth Games. So, you know, hopefully we'll go one better at the Olympics and knock off the World Champions.
Congratulations, Australia's very proud.
Thank you. Thanks very much.